Hello and welcome to the 100th video of Minifigs in Space. I am your host, Brian. Launched back in 2009, Space Police 3 was the first LEGO theme that got me interested in LEGO building and collecting. So I believe it is a very appropriate theme to return to celebrate the 100th video here on the channel. This video will be covering upgrades across all three generations with a slightly different approach for each generation. Starting with, of course, Space Police 1. This generation will be taking a gift with purchase approach, similar to what we found with the Blacktron cruiser. The Galactic Peacekeeper launched into space in 1989 and consisted of 109 parts with 2 minifigures. Here it is upgraded for 2025 using parts currently in production, minus of course the minifigure elements. This, in fact, will be true for all models present in this video. But back to the Galactic Peacekeeper itself, it has 144 bricks and includes a couple of fun features that I think really take it to another level. One thing that I believe is largely missing among LEGO spaceships that are smaller is functioning landing gear, so I wanted to make sure that I prioritized it when upgrading this set. The only con of this landing gear design is due to the next function, which is a removable prison pod. When the prison pod is removed, the landing gear does not help the ship stay upright. Here is how the ship looks without the prison pod attached, and something I strive to be intentional about with modular sections on spacecraft is making sure the spacecraft looks good with the modules removed. Taking a moment to look closer at the prison pod, I did upgrade it so that it has fewer bars in the front, but they still hinge upwards to put the prisoners inside. Essentially, I wanted to try keeping the aesthetics of the older prison pod, but have it more compact with the prison bars recessed into the pod itself. So with the reimagining of these aesthetics and functions, hopefully the Galactic Peacekeeper is able to compete against the recently upgraded Blacktron fleet. The message decoder of 1989, which I gotta say is an unusual name for a rover, originally consisted of only 27 bricks. My reimagined version has over triple the part count at 99 bricks and has some sweet angular aesthetics that are reminiscent of the original version. Just like the original set, I did keep the moving radar dishes, or perhaps satellite dishes, depending on what you imagine this to be for. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Nothing too fancy, just a bigger version of the original set. And that brings us to Space Police 2. With this generation, my design focus will be making them into modern playsets. The Rebel Hunter, which I might add is a very fitting name for a Space Police craft, was launched in 1992 and came in at 134 parts. The upgraded edition uses nearly double the parts at 266 bricks. It is not often that LEGO makes transparent green windshields for spacecraft, so I was really excited when these parts came out about, I think, a year or so ago. Regarding the functions of this spacecraft, there's actually quite a bit going on, so please bear with me as I try to demonstrate how it works. The cockpit itself took a surprisingly high amount of engineering to be functional because it does swing open, but it swings forward. It was challenging to make it so that it could swing forward without having any parts colliding with any other bricks from the main body. Those of you already familiar with this set know that it has a function where the prison pod can be dropped and the body of the spacecraft shrunk down. I redesigned the mechanism itself, but the concept is the exact same for this upgrade. Now, I don't have the original to compare to in person, but I believe that this structure is a lot stronger than the original set. In case you haven't guessed it already, the cockpit section is modular and can detach from the main fuselage of the ship. In regards to the prison pods, no offense to anyone out there, I really detest the Space Police 2 prison pod design. So, with my upgraded version, I decided to make it similar to the Space Police 1 prison pod, but with some slightly different connection points and of course different colors. Ah yes, the Galactic Mediator. This is the Space Police 2 flagship from, once again, 1992, and from what I gather, it is not a very well-liked ship in general, but hopefully my set upgrade changes that perspective a little bit. The original set had 379 bricks, and this one has 456, so the part increase is not as drastic as some of the previous builds I have done so far. Much like the previous set, it is very modular. In fact, the cockpit module is identical to the previous one we just looked at. Now, one major redesign I did was instead of having the little rover in the back of the ship, it is now in the middle of the ship, which was previously an unused hollow space. Fun fact, the central cargo module is compatible with the previous set. The most challenging part of the set design was figuring out how to integrate the prism pods into the rear body of the spacecraft. The original set had the prism pods locked behind a foldable wing mechanism, so I did something similar, and overall I think I am pleased with the design. Now for Space Police 3, I have opted to do something very different from how I typically build. LEGO Icons has been part of LEGO's Adults Welcome campaign, and they often do things such as brick-built helmets and stuff like that. So this next Space Police upgrade is actually not based off of a specific set, but a specific character. I present to you the LEGO Squidman Bust. This unusual take on a LEGO minifigure was inspired by the LEGO Star Wars helmet collection. And of course, I couldn't help doing an adult welcome branding, but slightly tweaked for the Squidman Bust. This build does use a total of 3 custom stickers, but I think it can work in a pinch without them if builders prefer that. Speaking of which, I will have building instructions for this bust here soon, so feel free to check the description below or the card linked on this video to find them and build it for yourself. I will note that currently the solid red domes used for Squidman's eyes are exclusive to Pick-a-Brick at lego.com. So if you want to build this, you should do it sooner than later in case they go out of stock. And with that, my friends, we have come to the conclusion of Minifigs in Space's 100th video. I would like to thank everyone for joining me in the celebration of this important milestone, and I would like to extend a very special thank you to longtime subscriber Ask-N2V, as this is technically part 2 of a video they have requested and have been waiting a very long time to have produced. Thank you again, my friends, and until next time, keep building your universe.